Good morning, everyone. In computer network, today's class is going to be about elementary data link protocols. Already we have studied the design issues, right? Data link layer design issues. In that we studied error correction and detection and all, right? Now we are going to learn about data link protocols. Okay, we are using set of rules to transfer the data from sender to the receiver. Okay, while you are sending the data, we have to follow certain kinds of rules. So those rules are divided into three categories: simple one, and for the stop and wait protocol, for error free channel, and for the noisy channel. Okay, we'll see one by one. First one is the elementary data link protocols, that is Utopian simplex protocol. Second one is the simplex stop and wait protocol for error free channel. Simplex stop and wait protocol for noisy channel. So this is the implementation of the physical data link and network layers. So this is the physical layer where we are using the cable as a medium, and it will be using the NIC network interface card to link to the data link layer. From the data link layer, driver will be used to transfer the data to the network layer. In the network layer, we are using the operating system to identify the data, and it will be used by the application which is going to be transferred from the data link layer to the network layer, is going to be used by the application. Okay, what are the assumption we should have when we are using these kinds of protocols? There is a machine called A and B. A wants to send a long stream of data to the machine B. It has to use the reliable connection oriented service. So it uses infinite supply of data ready to send. It assumes that to have the infinite supply of data ready to send. It does not have to wait for a data to be produced. Means machine A and B do not crash. So this layer treats the data packets to pure the data whose data bits to be delivered to the destination's network layer. Okay. Now this is the way it is going to get transferred. We are using the method framing that we have studied in the data link layer itself. It will encapsulate the data packets in a frame by adding the header and the trailer. So this is the packet which is having header and the trailer and also the data. This is going to be transferred to the receiver end. In the receiver end, the packet is having these kinds of things. Here header and trailer will be identified. The payload alone will be identified by the receiving end. So here we have studied the error correction and detection. How can you control the data by adding the header, and how you can check the data whether it is received properly. And then the frame is transmitted to the other machine. So here in the library we are using certain kinds of procedures. So to the physical layer we are using one procedure. From the physical layer we are using another procedure, and if it is going to wait for any kind of event, it has to use the procedure wait for event. Event subject will contain the information what was happened, right? Okay, so these are all the library procedures will be used in the sender. In the receiver, data is being received, the checksum is being computed. By using the checksum procedure, the data is going to be computed. If the error has occurred in the data link layer, then the event will be set as checksum error. If the data which is arrived is undamaged, it will be assigning the procedure frame arrival. So these are the some kinds of protocols which is used for data link layer. Here it will be giving the type definitions. Here we are giving the structure, and here itself we can identify. It will determine the packet size in bytes. Second line is we are declaring the types of data. Next we are having the sequence or acknowledgement numbers. Next we are giving the packet definition, then the frame kind definition, and all these things are structure which is telling about frame which is going to be transferred to other layer. What kind of frame, what is the sequence number, what is the acknowledgement number, and what are the network layer packet. So what are the definitions we needed for these kinds of protocols? We need this event. Wait for an event. To fetch a packet from the network layer, it need wait void from network layer packet event, and to deliver the information inbound frame to the network layer need the network layer. And these are all the different kinds of procedure it has to use when the data has been transmitted. These are all the procedures: acknowledgement timer, stop acknowledgement timer, enable the network layer, disable the network layer. So all these kinds of events are there, right? Okay, now we are going to see the simple utopian simplex protocol. What is this? Actually, this protocol is for what? It is the unrealistic one, which means it will not handle any flow control. If there is any error also it cannot handle. It reassembles the connectionless service that relies on the high layer to solve the problems. Did you understand? So this is the simplex protocol which is not going to have any, which is not going to handle any kind of flow control and also the error. Okay. Simply it is going to use the connectionless service to receive the receiver end. Okay, so this is the protocol which we are using here. Here there is a sender and there is a receiver. So before that you can see the explanation here. It provides the data transmission only in one direction from sender to the receiver. The communication channel is assumed to be free and the receiver is assumed to be able to process all the input infinite and quickly. Consequently, the sender sends just sits in a loop bumping data out on the line as fast as it can. Okay, so this is the meaning. Did you understand the protocol? Simply we are sending the data. The receiver should be able to receive the data at a time, and it is going to do only one direction, right? So this is the sender. So here you see the sender procedure. First we are having the frame and we are having the packet. We are checking from the network layer and we are receiving all the data and we are storing it into the buffer. That buffer is going to send to the physical layer, right? And in the receiver end, frame should be filled by the receiver packet. So it has to filled in by wait but not used here. So while it is true it wait for an event from the physical layer to the network layer, the data will be received. Next one is this is the simplex protocol. Next one is the simplex stop and wait protocol for a noisy channel. So before that we have seen utopian simplex protocol. Now we are going to see simplex stop and wait protocol. So it solves the problem of flow control. Blocking acknowledgement of the reception of data frame partially achieves this. If the acknowledgement frame gets lost, the protocol will fail. Error correction is not implemented. It can be implemented only in one direction. Okay. So this is simplex protocol. We will see the protocol procedure over here. Okay. So this is the procedure. Here there is a sender. Here you can see it also for a only one direction data from sender to the receiver. The communication channel is once again assumed to be error free, and here also we are assuming that the channel is error free. However, the receiver has only finite buffer capacity and finite processing speed, so that the protocol must explicitly prevent the sender from the flooding the receiver with data transfer faster that it can be handled, right? So this is the sender procedure. Here we are having a buffer to outbound frame. This is only packet buffer. Next what we are doing, we are arriving the event type equal to event, which is telling about the frame arrival is the only possibility. That is why event type event. While it is true, that is get something to send, we are receiving getting it from network layer or from the buffer, and we are copying that to the transmission, and that has to be sent to the physical layer. Till it has been received, it has to proceed. So here in the receiver and the same way we are having the buffers for the same receiver and the sender, and we are checking whether it is a event type. If it is true, it has to wait for an event, and after the event has been received, it has to start the get bound the frame and pass the data to the network layer, send the dummy frame to the awaken sender. Okay, so that is called as simplex stop and wait protocol for a noisy channel. So next we are going to learn about sliding window protocols. Okay, next one is the sliding window protocols. Why are we using this sliding window protocols? This is for full duplex data transmission. That means running two instances of one of the previous protocols. Each uses separate data link for the simplex data traffic in a different directions. You can send and also you can receive the data in the same communication channel. What is a better idea? That is only both directions. A and B frames are intermixed with acknowledgement frames from A to B. So it has to fill the kindly field in the header incoming frame will be used to tell the difference. So here the duplex data transmission further protocol improvement is sent to the acknowledgement frame together with the new data frame. See, when we are sending and also when we are using this is using the full duplex, it can send and also it can receive. While it is receiving the data itself, it can also able to receive the acknowledgement frame together. That is only free fried. So the technique of delaying the acknowledgement for one bit to be added to the next packet is known as piggy banking. For example, when we are sending the data, if the data acknowledgement is not received at the receiver end of that particular first data, first bit can also be the acknowledgement of that first bit can also be added with the second bit, and it can send back to the sender is called as piggy banking, right? So this technique will add some of the complication. What are the complications? If the data frame is not available, if the data frame is available within a short period, it will use piggy banking. Otherwise it will send separate acknowledgement. When it is started sending the acknowledgement, till then it has to wait, right? Otherwise it cannot send it. So at any instant of the time, the sender has to maintain the set of sequences of numbers that correspond to the frames are permitted to be sent. Okay, so what are all the frames how to be sent? That has to be wait, and those frames are set to fall within a sliding sending window. The receiver also maintains the receiving window which corresponds to the set of frames that is permitted to accept. So the sequence numbers within the sender's window represent the frames that has been sent and that can be sent but not has been acknowledgement. So here what it will do, there is a sequence number technique to send the data from the sender to the receiver. When we are sending it, sender's window represent the frames that has been sent, but it can be sent not yet been acknowledgement. It has sent the data but it is not yet acknowledged. Whenever the new packet arrives from the network layer, it is given to the next highest sequence number. Okay, whenever it is receiving, it has to give the highest sequence number. The upper edge of the window is advanced by 1. It has to be advanced by 1. When the acknowledgement arrives the lower edge, it advances by 1. When it is going to the lower edge also, it has to advance by 1. This is how protocol maintains a list of unacknowledgement frames. Here you can see the initially the window size is 1. Okay, this is the size of the window, it is 1. With the 3-bit sequence number, this will be initially like this. After the frame has been sent, it will be like this. So this is the send window size is 1, and with the sequence sizes, after the first frame has been received, this will be like this. After the acknowledgement has been received, the window will be like this. Clear? This is the sender, this is the receiver. So once the acknowledgement has been received, it will be like this. This is the protocol. So here we are using the PAR protocol. It allows unidirectional data flow over an unreliable channel. So first we have to give the sequence number, then we have to define the data type definitions we have to give, then we have to give the protocol. In the sender we have to set the sequence number, next outgoing frame, and the scratch variable, that is what are the variable are needed for the frame and also for the buffer, and we have to use the event to send it. So from the network layer the buffer has been started sending. While the this is true, it has to start sending s.info equal to buffer, that means construct the frame for transmission. Next we are inserting the sequence in the number frame. Next we are sending it to its way. Okay, if the answer to takes too long, timeout. If the frame has been arrived, the checksum and error has to be activated. So if event equal to frame arrival, then it has to get the acknowledgement. If the acknowledgement has been received, it can increment the frame, right? So that is only inc next frame to send, invert the next frame to send. Here the receiver is also having the frame and also the sequence number and the event. So first it is going to check possibilities of the frame arrival. A valid frame has been arrived and it has to go to the newly arrived frame. This is what being waiting for, and that is see, this is the condition we are going to check whether the event has been arrived or not. If event has been arrived, it has to arrive from the, not arrived, it has to receive from the physical layer. If it is expected, it has to receive the acknowledgement. So this is the procedure for sliding window protocol. From the sliding window protocol, we are having another type that is called as 1-bit sliding window protocol. So here the window size will be only 1. It has to use stop and wait. That means sender transmits a frame and wait for its acknowledgement before it sends to the next one. Okay. So here the sender sends the data, B gets the data, B after receiving the data it gets the acknowledgement, then A sends the data. That is two scenarios of protocol 4. A is the normal case, B is the abnormal case. Here sequence, acknowledgement and packet number indicates where network layer accepts a packet. Understood? So first one is the sequence number, second one is the acknowledgement number, and the third one is the packet number. Okay, it is receiving. Once it is received, it can send the another packet the same way, receives and send. If it is not in the normal case, that is A sending the data, before B sends the data, after B sends the data only A receives B gets the data. Okay, then A sends the data, here B now only B receives the data, like that. If it is in the proper way, it will be going on like this. If it is in the not proper way, delaying means it will be going on like this. Next one is the protocol using go back in. Up to now, the protocols depicted so far are based on the assumption that the time required for the transmission and the reception acknowledgement is negligible. But if the assumption is not true, round trip timer can have the import implications in the efficiency of the communication and bandwidth utilization. Did you understand what I am trying to say? Here we can use this stop and wait protocol if it is not we are having the assumption that it needs some kinds of time, so and it has to give the acknowledgement. But if the assumptions are not true that it can wait, it is going on waiting means it has to wait, maintain a timer. How can it can efficiently do the next communication? For that, we are having 50 kbps satellite channel, 500 milliseconds round trip propagation delay, and the protocol to send 1000 bit frames via satellite. T equal to sender means the sender starts the first frame. T equal to 20 milliseconds means the frame has been completely sent. 270 means the frame fully arrived at the satellite. 520 milliseconds means the acknowledgement has arrived at the sender. So sender was blocked 500 by 520, 96% of the time. In order to send the packed, and the sender utilized 4% of the available bandwidth. So what is the problem? Consequence of these rule requires sender has to wait for an acknowledgement before sending another frame. So relaxing on this condition, it will be enable achieving the significant better throughput. Allowing the sender to transmit W frames before blocking, acknowledgement will arrive for the previous frames for the window becomes full. Okay, so here most commonly it establishes the actual window size is W, number of frames to fit inside the channel, capacity of the channel is determined by bandwidth or bits, one-way transmit time or the bandwidth delay product of the bandwidth delay product, that is only BD. So the actual size could be set to window equal to 2 bandwidth delay product plus 1. Here it will link with bandwidth with 50 kbps. One way transit time is 250 milliseconds. Bandwidth delay product is BD equal to 50 kbps into 250 milliseconds, 1.5 kilobits per second and kilobits and 1.12.5 frames of 1000 bits. So this is the 26 frames and 520 milliseconds it has to get the acknowledgement for the first time received while 26 frames were transmitted. Acknowledgements will arrive only every 20 milliseconds. Protocol here, just in the time sender continue transmitting, 25 to 26 acknowledgement frames will always outstanding. Hence the sender maximum window size will be 26 frames. For a smaller window size it will be less than 100%, that is link utilization less than equal to W by 1 plus B2 BD. The upper bound in the link utilization is it does not allow any frame for processing on the time. It treats acknowledgement frame having 0 length. Next, from that particular equation, that means this equation, link utilization less than equal to W by 1 plus 2 BD, large bandwidth delay products requires large window. With stop and wait protocol, which W equal to 1, otherwise the frame is with propagation delay, the efficiency will be less than 50 seconds. So we are using the pipelining technique, the technique where the number of frames are sent immediately, which greater than send greater than 1, that send immediately. So what will happen when a certain frame is received in error? So this is only the timeout interval 0, it is receiving. Here during the third frame it is sending an acknowledgement. So these kinds of frames discarded by the data link layer. So pipelining and error recovery effect of an error when receiver's window size is large. This is the protocol which we are using for sliding window go back end protocol. So here we are having the data frame. So this is the sender data and in the buffer we have to store it, and in the buffer we have to store the sequence number also, and yes, from with that we are transferring the data to the physical, from the physical layer to the network layer. Okay, we are starting the timer. The same way we are having the network layer, acknowledgement, network frame to send, frame expected, unbuffered. Okay, so everything is true, it has to be. And this is another case of protocol using go back N. So if it is accept and transmit a new frame for a network layer, and a buffer next frame to be sent. So here buffer value will be added by 1 and it is sending the data and it increments the data. In case if the case of the frame is in arrival state, it has to check with the physical layer, then it has to receive the data. If the case in the error, it has to go to the error and break. If the case in the layer of next bound, next timeout, it is telling that it is if the data is less than equal to buffer size, it has to increment the buffer and it has to continue sending the data. So if it is less than maximum sequence, enable otherwise disable. Cumulative acknowledgement. When an acknowledgement comes for a frame, the frames are also acknowledged. Because the protocol has 5 multiple interesting frames, it logically needs multiple timers as per the outstanding frame. Each frame time is independently for all the others. The pending time modes from a linked list with each mode are continuing with number of clock steps, frame being timed appointed to the next node. So here only we are using the protocol using go back in simulation of multiple timers in the software. So the queued timeouts and the solution after the first timeout has expired. So this is the real time and this is the time which he is going to finish his process, and this is the frame being timed, and this is the tips to go. Another type is selective report. This selective report is telling about it will work well for if errors are rare. If there is an error, how it can be handled. For that only we are going to learn about selective repeat method. It allows the sender to accept the buffer and the frames are following damaged or not lost or damaged or lost one. So the sender and the receiver maintain a window of outstanding and acceptable sequence numbers sequentially. So the sender window size starts at 0 and grows to the predefined maximum. Receiver is always fixed in 0, it will be receiving the data. So maximum it will accept the sequence numbers. So window size starts with 0 and it has to accept the data which is going to be sent by the sender. It always in a fixed size and it is very equal to predetermine the maximum. So here this maintain a window of outstanding and acceptable sequence numbers. Sender will start with 0, grow with some predefined maximum. Whenever the frame arrives, the receiver has to do the following things. Check the frame sequence number. It does not fall within its fixed window. In this case, all the sequence has not been received in the previous transmissions will be stored. So it also without regard into the frame contains next packet exhibited by the network layer. So this frame is going to keep until all the lower numbers frames has already been delivered to the network layer in the correct order. So these consequential receive introduces further new constraint on a frame sequence versus protocol that accepted in a frame. So this is a procedure. What are all the things we needed? We need acknowledgement, next frame, to for procedure, and we have n before procedure. So this is the protocol. This is the maximum size and these are the things has been given already. And it is using the selective repeat means this method has to be used. The same thing with some different procedures. Next one is the selective repeat. It uses 3-bit sequence number. 7 frames are permitted to send by the transmitter before it is required to wait. So window size is having some kinds of restrictions. So it cannot most half of the range of the sequence numbers, and the size of protocol should be max SEQ plus 1 by 2. So when we are using the selective repeat, which are the bits have been missed, that alone will be repeated. Here the sender 7th bit will received, not sent, here also not. So it will be going on like this, 3 bits will be stored. And initial situation where the window size is 7. After 7 frames sent, received for but not acknowledged. Initial situation with the window size is 4. After 4 frames sent, they received but not acknowledged. So in that particular case, what you have to do, if there is a lot of traffic in one direction and there is no traffic in other direction, the protocol has to block the sender, window reaches the maximum. Auxiliary number timer is started by the start acknowledgement timer and then sequence data frames are received. Next one is the if there is inverse traffic, it has to represent the biggie banking before the timer expires and separate acknowledgement will be needed. So with this, we will finish our class today. We will see the remaining in the next class. So what we studied so far, we have studied the Utopian simplex protocol, simple protocol for noisy channel, simplex protocol for normal channel. So these are the things we studied today. So all these kinds of procedure you must be remember. You have to learn it properly and you write notes. Thank you.